Okay, good evening everybody. So let us start our lecture. This is our second lecture tonight. And how many of you are new tonight? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so for you, I will go through for few minutes. Okay, so almost all of my lecture videos will be uploaded on this YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube, then CSITEd experts, then here if you come here and then say playlist, and on this playlist you see CSE1321 Spring 2020. So this is section 3, and this is the last, that means the first lecture I have uploaded. So if you have not watched it yet, so before you come to the next lecture, please watch it at least one time. Okay, thank you. Okay, so in our first lecture we actually went through these welcome slides. Okay, so these slides actually have just information about our program and what we will be doing and what you will be doing, and at the end of these slides I stopped here. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. So we stopped here. So if you please watch the first lecture, you will know this thing. So I'm not going to repeat everything. Okay, so we stopped here. So the last thing maybe I told you that we will not be teaching English or math, especially I will not be teaching English. Okay, I asked you to watch my previous semester's lecture video, right? How many of you did have a chance to watch any of my previous lecture video? Nobody? Okay, it is optional. If you do not understand my English, then there is a chance maybe until this weekend. So randomly review some of my lectures from previous section, and if you do not understand my English at all, then you should switch to another section. That should be, if there is a way. Okay, I'm not a native American, you know already. So after, at the end of this semester, you cannot blame that the professor did not know English, so I could not pass this course. That will not be accepted. Okay, yes.
Is there a way to do closed captioning?
YouTube does something, but I'm not doing. It takes a long time to do captioning.
I'm not sure
If anyone can do for us, that will be appreciated. Okay,
I could.
you can.
I could if I wish.
Okay. Okay, yes. Then see me after the class. Then I will give you. We can work together. That will be good. Okay. I'm not sure why there is a block or coming. Okay. We left here, right? In our last lecture. So that, for instance, let us do a quick activity tonight. Okay, so everybody is ready. You don't need to do any use any calculator or computer or any, just on your head. It is a 30-second activity. Okay, so let me write it down, then I will come back. 4 times Ready? What is it? 16 divided by 4 times 4 minus 0.
0.
Okay. 0, how many people say 0? 2.
1. 0.
You said 0 is 1, right? 1 person. How many people say 1? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, at least 13, 14. Okay, let me see 13. And else? What is?
16.
16. How many people say 16?
I'm changing my answer.
I'm not changing my answer. I just think it could be either.
No, it's order of operation.
Okay. At least maybe 80%, right?
I mean,
Okay.
That's nonsense. It just needs to be. It just needs to have a. It just needs to be written more clearly.
Okay. I'm not going to teach this, okay? Just
alright.
So this is a middle school math. Everybody is here. You have been practicing math for at least 10 years, right?
Yep.
Okay. I did not like to embarrass you, just for curiosity. I get this question in a semester for the 1322 course. At least 27% student could not answer this. 27%. So you are better than this, right? You are better than them. So result is 16. Okay?
16?
Yes. So 16 divided by 4 equal to 4. 4 times 4 equal to?
I thought it was multiplication for 4 things.
Okay, that goes.
It's either or.
Okay. So,
Order of operations is nonsense. You just need to write it more clearly.
okay, so when we discuss this, so in order to solve this problem, we need precedence and associativity. It's called precedence and associativity of operators. We will discuss this later, okay? So some people know, remember PEMDAS, right? Okay, so they think that multiplication should come first, multiplication then division. No, if they find multiplication and division in one line, so they have multiplication and division, they have same priority, but they have precedence same, but the associativity comes from the left to right. So whichever operator it comes first, that will be executed first.
Divide and multiply.
Now we can use your calculator or any program. Okay, we will see that today. We can check later on any time. But I'm not going to teach this. I'm not going to spend time. Okay, this is a middle school math maybe, or at least high school. Not college level math. Okay. So never mind. Okay. So let us start our journey tonight. So people who are new, okay, so this is our first year experience page. Okay, so almost all information you will find on this page. Okay, and here is the space that we will follow for our schedule, and here is the space that we will see our professor information, their office hours and resources, free books. Some people misunderstand that this class does not have any book. Yes, we do have book, but free of cost. So there is a disadvantage of free resource that people think that it is not worthy. Okay. So I know that some people even do not open the book, free book. Okay, if you do not like this free book, please buy hard copy. Yes.
So when we're doing the quiz, what are we supposed to look at to help us?
Okay, so the quiz will be when you have quiz, then it is open. You can look at our slide, you can look book, you can do online, you can do Google search.
I mean, I took the quiz, not 80 on it, but I mean, I was looking at the slide and
I told in the beginning class that slides are for mainly for us, for other teachers. It will remind us what we should discuss. The slide will not have everything.
the book might.
Book might, but Google
Yes.
knows everything. Okay? But as long as you practice and if you give attention to our lecture, you should be good to do the quiz questions. Okay? And here on the first year experience page, you see there is a fast FYE slide repository. So these are the slides we will follow. Okay, so in our last lecture, we went through this slide. Welcome to the first year experience. Okay, so let us tonight, we want to go part one, module 1 has 2 parts. We wanna go to part 1 tonight. Okay, so I like everybody to download these slides and save in your folder. But time to time you will see that we will update these slides. So do not stay with the old slides, sometime update the new slides. Download the new slides and follow the new slides. If there is a major change, then I will sometime make an announcement. Okay, everybody ready? So our goal is tonight to discuss something that in our first lecture we discussed, that we told that we will learn programming and problem solving systematically. So we will learn what is the system that we should follow in order to be a good problem solver. Okay. Actually, in order to solve a problem, so we say that we say that we should think algorithmically. Okay, so the goal of this course is to increase your ability to help you to increase your ability for algorithmic thinking. So what is algorithmic thinking? So this is a might be an ambiguous word for many. Okay, algorithmic thinking, you may think that this is a systematic way. Okay, we will discuss that. Okay, so what is an algorithm? An algorithm is a process, or you can say that it is a recipe. In order to cook something, we follow a recipe, right? We use some ingredients and we follow some instructions. Okay, we use the ingredients according to the instructions. Some ingredients need to be used at the beginning. Before even some ingredient we need to use before we start cooking, and some ingredients we need to use at the end of our cooking, right? So if you do mismatch, then we know that your food will not be tasty, or sometimes it will not be eatable. Okay. So there is another word, it actually is abstraction. Okay, this an abstraction, you may be familiar or hear this word abstraction. An abstraction of a paper, or an abstract of a paper, or is the brief description. An abstract of a paper is the very brief description of a paper, right? When you read a newspaper or a news article or a research paper or a dissertation, at the first page you see like one paragraph or one page abstract. that will tell you briefly what is this about, what is the finding. Maybe there in one short line it will tell the process or procedure, what procedures are followed. But it will not tell you in detail how that actually found, right? So that is called abstraction. So in our programming and problem solving, we will use this word abstraction a lot. Okay. We'll go through this. So this is the topic. These are the topics that we will discuss. Algorithm. Mainly we will discuss what is an algorithm. So what is an algorithm? Then there are some properties for good algorithms, and we will describe some algorithms with example, and we will discuss components of an algorithm, and then we will start programming. Okay, actually an algorithm is the first step of programming. Okay, before we start programming, we should develop our algorithm. That development can be happen on a piece of paper. It can be verbal or audio or video description, or you can build that algorithm on your head. Okay. So everybody, we are familiar with algorithm and program development or actually problem solving in our daily life, but we want to know how should we proceed one systematically or algorithmically. Okay, so what is an algorithm? An algorithm is not a problem, actually is not a program. An algorithm is a recipe that actually we say that is a set of combination, a set of instructions and some ingredients, okay, that will in general tell you how to solve a problem. An algorithm, like a recipe, it contains some data and some instructions in order to apply on that data. Okay. So this is a visual representation of an algorithm. An algorithm, we have some data, we take that data as an input and we apply our algorithm, especially the instructions, and we get data as output in a different form that we had initially as our input. So our input in general still data and output is still data, but format or form of input data and output data are different. These are called raw data. We put as input, we use an input, and after we apply our algorithm, we get our processed data or output or information. Okay. For instance, we know the recipe in order to cook a cookie or something. We may use these ingredients. Sometimes in order to cook certain amount of cookies, we need to use certain amount of sugar, certain amount of flour, right? We know that. We can do plus minus a little bit, not huge. And then we have some instructions. We should follow the instructions in some order. Some instructions we should follow at the beginning, or some instruction we should follow at the middle, and some instructions we should apply at the end, right? So this is the systematic way in order to solve a problem. For instance, in order to cook something, like a cookie. Okay. Now there is a word abstraction. Okay, so abstraction is a concept. Okay, this is, everybody please give attention. It is difficult to define abstraction. and also difficult to understand abstraction in some situation. So just you can remember that an abstraction is a concept that will tell you about something or something, but not in detail. That will give you an idea or a concept, but not in detail. Okay, in our daily life we follow many abstract things, and we do not have any complaint about that. For instance, think about how many people know how to drive a vehicle. Okay, so before we start driving, we start our engine, right? By using the key, right? Okay, so when we push our key to the engine, and the ignition system starts that engine, right? How the ignition system works and how the engine starts, that is an abstract thing to us, right? We don't need to be concerned how the engine starts. We need to be concerned, be careful. If I press on brake, it will stop. If I press on gas, it will go. And if we move our steering, it will stay either straight or right or left, right? These are the things that we need to follow, but there are many abstract functions within this driving, while driving, starting and driving a car. When we press our brake, we expect that it will stop, but it is not our concern to know how the brake system works, right? That is abstract to us. We should not spend our time, valuable time, to think how the engine works, how the braking system works, how the gas works, right? So some other people, maybe some group of people will think about that. Maybe the mechanics or the engineers will think, right? Auto engineers will think how the brake works. Okay, so that concept is an abstract concept for us. We do not have any complaint about that, right? As long as our car works, then fine, right? Okay, so we are familiar with at least one abstract thing, right? In our daily life, sometimes we use abstract word, and sometimes we avoid abstract word. Okay. For instance, another example of abstraction: how do we turn off or turn on our light? So we press our off button, it works, right? We press on button, same button, maybe in reverse order, it works. So it is not our concern how the switch or electric system works, right? There is a connection between the switch and the lights. How the lights turns off and on, it is not our concept. They are abstract to us. We do not care about that, right? As long as we press switch and if it works, then we are happy, right? So similarly, while programming, we will use many abstract terms and abstract thing. By the end of this lecture, I will show you. But we should not have concept about that, concern about that, okay? For instance, if you know programming beforehand, we use just print command in order to display something on our monitor, right? How the print method works is abstract to us for now. We should not be worried about how the print method works for now. That is abstract to us. But later, when we have that past knowledge, we will spend some time to know how the print method works. You understand? So sometimes we will learn about the system, how it works, but many times we avoid abstraction. Okay, and sometimes we, for instance, we avoid our instruction. For instance, if I have a laptop, okay, so if someone asks me how much this MacBook or laptop cost, we say maybe $1,000, right? We say, like, for instance, $1,000. For instance, we say $1,000, right? But we know that $1,000 equal to 10 to the power 3, right? 10 to the power 3. How that can I write it? To format font, maybe superscript. Okay. So if my laptop cost $1,000, we say that it cost $1,000, right? But this $1,000 can be written abstractly or scientifically as 10 to the power $3, right? We usually do not say it costs 10 to the power 3. Do we say? We do not say that, right? But okay, so, but sometimes we use abstract. So in order to find an weight of an atom, if someone asks you what is, you know that, right? You took chemistry class or physics class. We know that an atom has a weight, right? Very, very small weight. But we write that weight with scientific methods, something like then 10 to the power minus something, right? We use that abstract concept, right? So sometimes in some places we use abstract concept and some places we avoid abstract concept, right? So now everybody has an idea about abstraction. And abstraction is a concept, not clear. It is something about idea. Okay, very in brief idea. In our daily life, we are familiar with abstraction. Sometimes we use abstraction. Sometimes we avoid abstraction. So everybody got an idea about abstraction? So in our programming, we will use abstract a lot. I will show you soon how do we and where do we use abstract. So now if we understand abstraction, now we can jump into an algorithm. How to write an algorithm, for instance. Okay. So maybe this is an algorithm. So our problem is that, for instance, we want to use shampoo. We want to take a bath and then we want to use shampoo, right? So this is the process. For instance, these are the process. We need to wet our hair, and then we need to apply a small amount of shampoo. We need to lather and then rinse and repeat. So in general, this might be called an algorithm. Okay. So do you think that, now keep attention over here. There are only 5 steps. Okay. Do you think any abstract step over here? Are there any abstract steps here? What are those?
Wet hair.
Okay.
It doesn't specify how to get your hair wet, but it's the garden
Yes.
in the shower.
For instance, the first one, wet hair, it does not tell you what to use, hot water or cool water, right?
Another problem. Doesn't what's a small amount of shampoo?
Yes. It does not tell you what is a small amount, right?
Oh, it also doesn't say like where to apply it to, like.
So if for me, I'm bald-headed, so a small amount of shampoo should be fine for me, right? And what is your name?
Me?
Yes.
CJ.
Okay, CJ has a lot of good hair, right? So like small amount that will fit for me should not be enough for him, right? So the small amount, the amount is vague for us, right? And it's an abstract, right? Then it does not tell you how to measure and then how to range, and lastly, it says repeat, right? It does not say how many times I repeat. Whole day? Okay. Until the bottle is empty, you will repeat. Okay. So, but we know that in our daily life we do this, right? Without any complaint, right? Okay. So, while I tell you write an algorithm, do not push me about the abstract thing. Do not ask me, Professor, how can I weight? How can my weight my hair? How should I? How many times I should repeat? You need to consider appropriately what comes in our mind, right? That should be appropriate, right? Some people can repeat 10 times, some people can repeat 2 times, right? As long as you are happy, right? Okay. So, what we have learned so far? We will be using abstract thing while developing our algorithm, right? Okay. So, so in order to write an algorithm to do shampoo, so if we just write these steps, I'm sorry. Some people may say that this is a good algorithm, is enough. Some people argue that oh, it's not good, it's not complete. There are many vague or abstract things here, right? Abstract concept. Some people say, oh, it does not say how many times I have to repeat. So, in order to develop an algorithm, we should consider at least these 5, 6, at least these 6 attributes of an algorithm. Okay. First of all, an algorithm should be precise. Okay. And it should be unambiguous. It must be complete. It must be correct. Okay. And it must be as simple as possible. Okay. And it should have level of abstraction. So why do we need to have level in some abstract word? Why do we need the last? Let us focus. So I think except the last one, everybody is familiar with this, right? These are simple, right? Straightforward, right? So so why do we need the last word? It should have some content. It should have some abstraction. Yes.
So that our algorithms can be used for more than one task?
Sorry.
So that our algorithms can be used for more than one task?
So our algorithm should be used, let us see that, let me finish. So our algorithm should contain an abstract concept so that we can make it precise. So for instance, in order to tell a boy how to do shampoo, okay, so if you just say wait your hair, that should be enough. We think that, right? But if you want to tell, okay, go to the bathroom, turn on the switch, okay, take some water and pour on your head and do that will be too much, right? That way, that may distract someone in order to follow the other necessary steps, right? So in shortcut, if you say wait here, that should be enough, right? So this is why in order to in order to make an algorithm precise, we should use abstract, some abstract word or abstract steps. You have a question? Okay. And the algorithm must be complete and correct. Must be complete. That means if you take off the steps rings, should it be complete? It should not be complete, right? So as long as it contains all necessary steps, then that is considered as completeness. Okay? Anyone has any questions so far? You understand this? Okay, thank you. We have a few more slides, then we will go to live program, okay? So how do we write an algorithm? Okay, so an algorithm, we said an algorithm is what? At the beginning, we define an algorithm as a what? Algorithm is a process, right? To solve a problem, right? An algorithm can be described in multiple formats. It can be straightforward. It can be written straightforward in any language. Any language, English, other, since English is a common language, so we use English, okay? An algorithm can be written as Spanish, my native language is Bengali. It can be written my language Bengali, or your someone else's language maybe Spanish. How many of you have native language Spanish? Okay, it can be written in your language, right? Okay, any language. It can be described as a picture, right? It can be shown as a video, or it can be shown as an audio. Think about that. If you ask, if you are new, when you are new in this campus at the time, think about that time. Everybody was here as a newcomer, right? At the time you were new, you asked some people how to go to the student center, right? Maybe you did not ask anybody. Some of you did are more intelligent and talent. They asked Google, right? How to go to get direction to, hey Google, get direction to the student center, right? Yeah. Okay, so when you say, hey Google, get direction to the student center, what it will do? It can tell you, it can show you a map, right? That is picture. You can follow that map and go through. It can tell you the direction, go right, turn right, go 200 meters, then turn left, go 2 miles or something, right? That is descriptive English, right? Or it can tell you in voice, turn right, turn left, go straight, something, right? So those are the steps, we know that. So an algorithm can be presented in multiple ways or different ways. So whatever you are familiar with, comfortable, in order to solve your problem, you are good. Okay? So when we can write, so we can write an algorithm by drawing something, right? If you draw something, then it will show you right, left, then it will tell you 200 meters, 300 meters, like maps. Maps, physical maps have, right? Paper-based map to have. It can be picture, it can be audio or video, right? Okay. Now is a question that, or it can be a combination of one or more media, right? Okay. Now one more thing. How long we should use an algorithm? Okay. How long we should use an algorithm? Okay, let me tell you a scenario. Okay, how many of you need to use GPS? If you use a GPS while you drive to your home, while you drive to your home, how many of you need to use GPS, right? GPS. Only a few, right? Okay, how many of you use GPA or something when you came to the campus? Okay, the more people, right? Okay, how many of you used GPS when you came to this campus very first day? Almost all everybody, right? Okay, so then how many? So you see that we use a GPS to give us an algorithm, right? But in order to show us our direction, right? But as soon as we become familiar with our direction, we no longer use that GPS. You understand? You agree with me, right? So we will, because our head will tell us how to go home. My home, I know better, right? I don't need to use GPS unless I'm lost, right? Or there is an accident on my way. So we will follow this technique. As soon as we will become familiar, very familiar, to solve a problem, because then we will get the algorithm developed in our head suddenly, right? Because when you go to, after the end of this lecture, you will go to your car, because your head will tell go turn right, left to go your home, right? You don't need to use GPS. Similarly, in this lecture or in our course, throughout our course, we will use algorithm. We will start using an algorithm in order to solve a problem, but as soon as we will have enough idea how to solve this problem, we will no longer be using that algorithm. So our head will tell us, right? So this may be an example of an algorithm. For instance, in order to register a course. So this algorithm can be written or in different way. If even I ask you, all of you, to write the steps, how did you register in a course, maybe 100 students will write this algorithm in 15 or 20 ways, 20 different ways, right? As long as that fulfill our goal, that is correct. Okay. Now next, when we write an algorithm, okay, so do I need to go all by step through this for this algorithm? I think we don't need to do. Okay, so if you need, then you can read through. Okay, so these algorithm, these steps is in plain English, so it can be depicted with a chart. This is called flowchart. Okay, so an algorithm, I said that an algorithm can be represented as a picture. So this kind of picture is called a flowchart. That is a way to represent an algorithm. So when we use a flowchart, it has some specified symbol. For instance, the start and end button will be oval sign. Okay, it must be oval. Starting point and ending point must be oval. It not circle, it not square, or it not a rectangle. But these will be rectangles. These will be rectangles when we take input or put output or something. Okay, and we use this diamond shape in order to take a decision, to check a condition. Okay, in order to check condition or make a decision, we will use this. What is diamond shape, right? These are called. Okay, and we use arrow sign in order to show his path or direction, show his direction. Okay. So this one shows it goes from left to right, and this direction it shows it comes from right to left, right? You understand? So this arrow sign, this will tell us from which direction it is going. So although these steps are complicated, but you should be familiar with some of these symbols, right? So in order to write a flowchart, if you are asked to write a flowchart, you must follow the symbols. You cannot use a rectangle symbol at beginning or starting or ending point. You cannot. Okay? In order to make a decision, you must use a diamond sign. Okay? You cannot use a square or circle over there. So if you are new and if you never written any flowchart, so please follow this and start drawing some flowchart, writing some flowcharts, even for very simple, how to add two numbers or how to check whether a number is even or odd. So for instance, if we ask you, for instance, what is 10? Is 10 an even or odd number? Okay, how did you tell that is? How did you check it is even? Okay, yes. As soon as I asked you the question, is 10 even or odd? It came in your mind that we need to divide this 10 by 2, right? And we need to get the remainder, right? The remainder is 0. If the remainder is 0, then it is even, right? So there are many steps. Then you started from here, took the number equal to 10, you checked here, you took the get the remainder over here, you checked whether the remainder is the remainder 0 or 1, right? As soon as you got the remainder is 0, then you said is even, right? If the remainder was 1, for instance, if I asked you 11, is 11 an odd or even number? Then you suddenly would calculate that remainder is 1, right? For in case 11, if you divide it by 2, the remainder is 1, so you would tell that it is an odd number, right? So the process or algorithm, it worked in your head, right? Quickly, right? So this is why you are able to solve this problem. So some problems can be solved quickly. Some problem will take long time to solve, right? Based on the complexity of a problem, right? Okay. So this symbol, in order okay, again, so in order to write a flowchart, you must follow this specified symbol. You cannot avoid this rule. Okay, these are established rule. You cannot avoid. Okay, I have a few more slides. Let us go through this. How many slides do you have? Okay, 4 slides. Okay, so what are the components of an algorithm? So these are the common components of an algorithm. So some data structures. The first and foremost component of an algorithm is data structure. Data structure means how the data will be stored, how the data will be kept. We will know about this. Okay, data can be stored in a database, or data can be stored in a variable, very simple data. It may need to use an array. It may need to use an object. That depends on situation. And we need some instructions. And the instructions may have some conditional expression or may have some control expressions, maybe repetition for repetition. And we may use, in order to make our algorithm simple, we can use modules. That means we can group some instructions together to make a module, or we say it function, in order to concise our algorithm. We said that in order to write a good algorithm, our algorithm must be concise, right? Okay, in order to write your algorithm, It must be concise and complete. So, for instance, if someone asks you how to go to the student center, okay, if you take 5 minutes to describe, go this way, that. Will anybody listen to you? Maybe he or she will leave. She will leave, right? She will leave. She will not listen to you, or he will not listen to you. If you take more time to describe how to go to student center, right? If you tell them go this way, if you tell just go this way, that time, right? Then he or she will be happy. So this is why, in order to make our algorithm step-card and straightforward and concise, we use abstraction, right? We use abstraction. Okay. So once we develop our algorithm, then we will start programming. Okay. So the systematic way to learn programming is that, first of all, we need to develop an algorithm. Okay. Then we will start writing program. Okay. So for instance, let me give you a scenario. How many of you do not know how to drive to Kenesa campus without a GPS? Even I do not know how to go to Kenesa campus. Every time I go to Kenesa campus, I use my GPS. Honestly.
I just take a bus.
Okay, let's take a bus, or if you drive yourself. How many of you need not use to use GPS? At least? Yeah, main campus. You don't need GPS, right? So I need people who need to use GPS. Who needs to use GPS? You need GPS, right? Okay, even I need to use GPS in order to go to main campus, okay? So if I need to use a GPS to go to main campus, okay? So my problem is to go to the main campus, right? So my GPS is a media, a tool that will tell me how to go to Kenesa campus. Then how do we use that GPS? How should I use this? Should I start driving first, or should I set up my GPS first? I must set up my GPS first, right? I should set up my GPS first, right? With my destination at Kenesa main campus, right? So it will not be a good idea that I will start driving, and on the freeway I will use GPS to give my destination, right? That is not a good way, right? So then what is the good process? What is the safe and systematic process? That I should get my algorithm first, right? My GPS will give me the algorithm, how to go to main campus, right? I should set up my GPS, I should get my algorithm first, then I will implement my program of driving, right? I will start my driving, right? So the process is systematic process is that we will develop our algorithm first, although it may take some time. Although it may take some time in order to write an algorithm, in order to develop an algorithm, okay? But that is the systematic way to solve a problem. Many people, you will see that, who do not come to school, okay, they may learn programming, but they go different way, non-systematic way. They start learning programming. They watch video, and the right way they start programming. Maybe if you would go to this kind of lecture other than academic institution, you would go somewhere else. Maybe they were the first minute they would start you with a program, and they would start describing a program. Like if you want to know how to drive, maybe someone who is better, someone who will help you to start driving on a local way, or someone who will take you to the drive, to the freeway at the first minute, which one you feel comfortable? To go to the freeway. If you want to teach someone how to drive, what you will do? Where you will start from? Maybe in a field, right? An empty field, right? In the parkway, right? You should not start on highway 75, right? So this is the programming technique. Similarly in programming, maybe you are getting bored. That professor told me that he would start programming, but he is stuck in an hour, but he did not start it. He did not start programming, right? Don't worry, okay? In our daily life, we do that. Think about this situation. Let me see how many slides I do have. Maybe I have 2 more slides, then I will tell you a story. So what is the wrong approach? The wrong approach is that without developing an algorithm, just right way starting program. Start with writing a program is not a good way to learn programming. Okay? So even if you have some prior programming experience, I believe many of you have, okay? That will be good, but be patient, please. Be patient and stay with me. I will not start driving until I know my destination. I set up my GPS. Okay? Like, for instance, how many of you have eaten coconut? Coconut.
Coconut?
Yeah.
Like the fruit?
Yeah, fruit coconut.
Tried eating a coconut once.
Okay, that's good. It's a tasty food, right?
No.
Kind of. It's tasty food. So people, it's good food for them. Good fruit. So if you get an apple or another coconut, there are 2 different processes, right? To start eating. If you grab a coconut and right away you start eating without breaking the outer face or the shell, if you start, huh?
Break your teeth.
Yeah. The most intelligent, what is your name?
JC.
This is the intelligent person, okay? Okay. Yeah. So in our daily life, we eat coconut different way than an apple, right? If you start eating a coconut, a raw coconut, like an apple, then that will be the worst food, right? Okay? But in order to get the actual taste of the coconut, you need to break. What is the process of? What is the process of?
Cut it in half.
Okay.
Cut the top off, and then they shape the inside.
Yes, and there is a hard shell, right? You need to break that shell, right? Once you can break the shell, then you will get actual interest of coconut, right? But if you do not or cannot break the shell of the coconut, you will never get the actual interest of the coconut, right? Okay, so like programming is like that, simple. Programming, I tell my students, programming is like eating a raw coconut. If you can, sorry, there are some steps, like for instance, the development of an algorithm is the step that is similar to breaking the shell of a coconut. If you can develop an algorithm, then the next part, writing program code, is easy. Okay? Then you will see that, believe me, if you know how to write, how to develop an algorithm, then you will spend hours after hours, nights after nights, in order to solve a problem. Once you know that you need this step, then you can do Google search, you can go to other people to how do I need this, how do I do this in this programming language, in Java or C# or C++, right? So when you write your algorithm, you will know that what are the actual steps in it. But actually, if you do not know how to develop the algorithm, then you will not get interested in programming. In that case, like the coconut, this course will be the worst course for you, and I will be the worst professor in your life. Okay. If you do search for me, like rate my professor, and Google search, then you will see some student, and maybe one or two students say, Professor Hussain does not know English. Okay, he does not know English how to survive. I know the reason that some students they asked me for favor, I could not give him. I found one student that he forgot totally. He didn't. There were 10. How many quizzes are there? At least 10 quizzes, right? The student did not submit any quiz. What could I do at the end of this semester? Can I help him? I could not help him. There was other scenario like this. I know that student will give me bad rating, and I will be worst professor for them. Okay, I like you everybody. Even you were first in this lecture, in this course tonight, or even you were in last lecture. So please follow the schedule. I will not tell this every night, okay? Please follow the schedule, and it is your responsibility to submit your assignments and quizzes, whatever is needed. How many times I do have?
You should tell the new people about the online attendance.
Okay, that's good. Thank you so much. Okay. So, anyone has any questions so far?
What's the meaning of life?
Huh?
What is the meaning of life?
40.
How was 47? No, it's 42, but other than that.
42. Oh, my bad.
Come on.
Sorry.
Okay. So have you learned something tonight?
Yes.
Have you learned something new tonight?
Don't eat the coconut on the outside.
So literally you will see it, right? This. Okay.
That's something you need to do.
Okay, I need 3 more. You need to not leave, please. Especially people who are new tonight.
Just read the book.
Okay, especially people who are new tonight. Please do not leave. Okay, I need 4 or 5 minutes. I'm taking a break. So at least we have learned something new tonight, right? Okay, that we learned what is an algorithm. An algorithm is a what? Rest. Okay. I give an example. Okay. Okay. So for instance, if you take a biology class, and if you are asked a question, what is the difference between a man and a monkey? What is the difference between a man and a monkey? What is will be your answer? The monkey has a tail, but a man does not have a tail, right? Would that be an appropriate answer for you?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
You know, for a biology student or teacher. Okay, so because we will tell that human being has more intellectual brains than the monkey, right? Okay, God has gifted with skill, right? The monkey has a tail. Yeah, that should be answer for a little baby. Okay. So by the way, so our goal will be okay. So when I ask what is an algorithm, so I told you that an algorithm example of an algorithm is a recipe, but do not tell that an algorithm is a recipe. Okay. That answer is equivalent to that a monkey has a tail. Okay. So an algorithm is a systematic process, okay, or a process to solve a problem systematically, okay? Or if you want to say in detail that an algorithm contains some data and some instructions in order to apply on those data, right? So in order to write a good algorithm, we make the algorithm precise, complete, okay, clear. And in order to make an algorithm precise, we use abstraction, right? What is an abstraction? An abstraction is a concept that will tell us briefly, very briefly, as briefly as possible, to do something. Okay? It will not tell you in detail. An algorithm an abstraction is not detailed. One thing, okay? What is not an abstraction? Abstraction is not in detail. It will not tell you. Okay? So then our systematic process will be, we will write or we will develop an algorithm, then we will start programming, right? We will never start programming unless we know the algorithm, right? An algorithm can be depicted in different ways. What are the ways we can develop an algorithm? It can be in plain English. We're using plain language, like human language, right? We consider English. It can be picture, pictorial. It can be flowchart, that's pictorial, okay. It can be programming syntax, or we will call pseudocode. We will use pseudocode in order to develop in this lecture. Most of the algorithms. Pseudo means fake, simple code, okay. That is not complete program code. But that will tell us what steps you need to implement, you need to do. Okay? And once we know our algorithm development, we will start writing program. So be patient with us. By the end of this semester, we have a 100-day resolution. Let us make a resolution tonight for 100 days. So you know that in order to graduate with computer science after engineering or IT or in many field, you need to get at least a B, right, in this course. Okay? But let us make a resolution for 100 days. How many of you want to get an A? Ask a question. How many of you want to get an A? You don't want? You don't want to get an A? Then please raise your hand. Okay, then we don't have more than A. We don't have A plus, we don't have A minus. Okay, we don't have B plus. A, B, C. Okay, so let us make a resolution. Let us make an aim that we will get an A. If all of you get an A, I promise I will not reduce any single point for anyone to make a B, to make a balance. I promise. Okay, but in order to get an A in this course, you need to be sincere and you need to be systematic and algorithmic from very beginning. Maybe from tonight. If you start, you know that there will be test 1. After how many weeks? 3 weeks, right? After 3 weeks, you will get test 1. So if you are not sincere from now, you will not do good in test 1. Do not wait until 2nd week or 3rd week to start starting. Okay. One more thing, I discussed give the rules and some policies, right? There is one extra policy that I did not tell you. I will tell you this night tonight, and I want to implement from that night, next lecture. That is my personal policy, is that unless you use your computer for note keeping or something, you cannot use your computer on a device for doing social work or watching movie or video or gaming. Okay, this is my lecture. If you stay in this room, you cannot watch any movie, you cannot do any video games. Okay, but in case you have an emergency phone call or text message, do it quickly. If you can do it with text message, you can solve your problem, text message, communicate, do it quickly, silently, okay? If you need to talk, go outside silently and finish it, come back quickly. Everybody agree? But But I don't allow you, I will not allow you to come here and watch phone, okay, for gaming or movie. You don't need to come here only for percentage, 1.5 points. You don't need to come here. If you need percentage, tell me, I will give you some percentage. Okay? Anyone has any different opinion about that? Okay, and if you need to use your phone, because sometimes in some lectures I will restrict not to open any device. Some lectures, whenever needed full attention. Okay, so people who need to use device to keep note, please come forward and sit on the front bench. Especially if you sit on the back bench, I will not allow you to open the device. Okay, that is because my goal. Okay, my goal is to be successful, and your success is my success. Okay, if you fail in this code, maybe hopefully I will not lose my job, but I will be disheartened that my student failed. Okay, so from next lecture, if you want to open a device, please come sit in the front. Okay, so that people from the back can see what you are doing. And I will give some candy on the people who can give me, who can do some spy work for me. They tell that those people who are watching movie or playing game. But do not do that for personal class, okay? Okay, so people who are new, okay, so we will use archive, so ARKIV, this app. Okay, in order to give your attendance. Okay, there is 1.5 point for the attendance. So if you are new in this course, so please use this code 3SANH in order to be registered in this course. Okay. Thank you so much, and I wish to see you in our next lecture. There is another online section. There is another online section.
Right, well, I have the online for the lab. It's the same material here created.
This online is same material. Are you talking about lab or theory?
The lab.
Lab has different material. Theory is different, lecture is different in lab. So who is your professor for lab? Howard is by. Okay. So send an email and follow the instructions on video.
It's not gonna be that. It's gonna be a different, maybe.
Yeah, not me. I will not be your lab professor. Okay?
Either, right? Either, right?
Control command something. Yes.